The Book of Esther Explained, Bible Study Series. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, it really does help us build the channel. Welcome to Books of the Bible Explained. Today, we're exploring one of the most dramatic, suspenseful, and inspiring books in all of Scripture, the Book of Esther. This is a story without any direct mention of God's name, yet his handprints are everywhere. It's a story about courage, divine timing, and how one woman's faith changed the course of history. By the end of this video, you'll see how the lessons from ancient Persia still speak powerfully to us today, about faith in uncertainty, courage under pressure, and the unseen providence of God. The fall of Queen Vashti. The story begins in the royal courts of King Xerxes, Ahasuerus, ruler of the mighty Persian Empire. He throws a lavish 180-day feast, showing off his wealth and power. But then, in a drunken moment of pride, Xerxes commands Queen Vashti to appear before the guests to display her beauty. Vashti refuses. Her act of dignity costs her everything, she's banished. This sets the stage for Esther's rise, but there's a lesson here. Vashti stood for conviction, even when it cost her comfort and position. Application for today: in a world that pressures us to compromise, God honors those who stand for integrity, even when it's unpopular. Sometimes saying no is the most faithful thing we can do. Esther becomes queen after Vashti's removal. The king's advisors suggest a beauty contest to find a new queen. Hundreds of young women are brought to the palace, among them a Jewish orphan named Hadassah, known as Esther. Raised by her cousin Mordecai, Esther hides her Jewish identity as instructed. After months of preparation, she's chosen to be queen. It seems like coincidence, but it's divine orchestration. Application for today: God often places us in positions for a purpose we can't yet see. Your workplace, your community, your influence, none of it is random. Like Esther, you might be in your role for such a time as this. Haman's plot. Enter the villain, Haman, a proud and power-hungry official elevated by the king. Everyone bows to him, everyone except Mordecai. When Haman learns that Mordecai is a Jew, he doesn't just want Mordecai punished, he plots to exterminate all Jews in the empire. He convinces the king to issue a decree: on the 13th day of the 12th month, all Jews are to be killed. The date is sealed with the king's signet ring. It seems hopeless. Application for today: evil often disguises itself as pride and prejudice. Like Haman, unchecked ego leads to destruction. But even when the odds are stacked against us, God is quietly working behind the scenes, aligning events for deliverance. Esther's decision: when Mordecai learns of Haman's plan, he tears his clothes and mourns. He sends word to Esther, urging her to go before the king and plead for her people. But Esther hesitates. No one can approach the king uninvited without risking death. Mordecai's reply becomes one of the most famous lines in Scripture: "Who knows if you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Esther 4:14. Esther makes her decision: if I perish, I perish. She calls for a 3-day fast among the Jews, a moment of spiritual preparation before stepping into danger. Application for today: faith often requires risk. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear, it means trusting God in the face of fear. Before big decisions, Esther prayed and fasted, a reminder that spiritual preparation must precede bold action. The first banquet on the third day, Esther dresses in her royal robes and enters the king's court. The moment is tense. Will she live or die? But the king extends his golden scepter, she is spared. She invites Xerxes and Haman to a banquet. At the feast, the king asks her what she desires, but she wisely delays her request and invites them to another banquet. Meanwhile, Haman leaves the feast proud, until he sees Mordecai refusing to bow. His anger burns, and he builds a gallows 75 feet high to hang Mordecai. Application for today: Esther's patience shows divine wisdom. Sometimes God calls us not to rush but to wait for His perfect timing. Wisdom is knowing when to speak and when to wait. The turning point that night: the king can't sleep. He asks for the royal records to be read, and coincidentally, he hears about the time Mordecai saved his life from an assassination plot. The next morning, the king asks Haman, what should be done for the man the king delights to honor. Thinking the king means him, Haman describes a lavish parade. Then the king says, "Do that for Mordecai." Haman is humiliated, forced to lead Mordecai through the streets, praising him. Application for today: God can reverse situations overnight. What seems like defeat can turn into victory when God intervenes. Never underestimate the power of His timing. Esther's revelation at the second banquet: the king again asks Esther for her request. This time, she reveals her secret: "If I have found favor with you, O king, spare my life and the lives of my people, for we are to be destroyed." The king is shocked. Who is he that would dare do such a thing? Esther points: the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. In fury, the king storms out. When he returns, he sees Haman falling onto Esther's couch to beg for mercy, and interprets it as an assault. Haman is executed on the very gallows he built for Mordecai. Application for today: God's justice may take time, but it is sure. What we sow, good or evil, will return to us. Trust God to handle your enemies. Your job is to remain faithful and fearless. Deliverance and celebration: though Haman is dead, his decree cannot be undone. So Esther and Mordecai write a new decree, allowing the Jews to defend themselves. On the appointed day, the Jews prevail against their enemies. Mordecai is promoted, and a new holiday, Purim, is established to commemorate their deliverance. The book closes with celebration, restoration, and remembrance of God's unseen hand. Application for today: even when God seems silent, He is sovereign. When life feels out of control, remember Esther: God is working through every circumstance to bring about His purpose. Your faithfulness in small moments can lead to generational impact. The hidden hand of God: though God's name never appears in the Book of Esther, His providence is written between every line. He works through ordinary people, through courage, faith, and obedience, to accomplish extraordinary things. Esther's story reminds us that God's silence doesn't mean His absence. Our courage can rewrite history. And our faith can inspire deliverance far beyond our imagination. So wherever you are, whatever you face, remember, you might be exactly where you are for such a time as this. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Book of Esther, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to continue our Books of the Bible Explained journey. Comment below, what moment from Esther's story inspires you the most?